I'm Alice Evan, and I live for adventure. On the road less travelled is where I want to be. Some of the most remote places left on Earth are only accessible by sea, so I need to learn how to sail. And I need a boat. Like the explorers of the past, I'll leave my home and journey across the water.
See you later, New Zealand!
And out there, in all that blue, as captain of my own ship, I'll be tested like never before. My course is set for the far-flung islands of the South Pacific, to discover the isolated people, raw beauty, and the secrets of those forgotten shores. Let the voyage begin.
Really hot now. I'm having trouble sleeping at night, and with every mile that slips underneath me, it just gets warmer. Makes me think about leaving New Zealand, and it was winter time when I left, and I remember I slept inside my sleeping bag with a duvet over the top of me, and I was still cold. It's always a problem with humans. It's either too hot, too cold, too wet, too dry.
When you look at a map of the Pacific, there are thousands of tiny dots. Each one of those dots has a story. I'm sailing south to the Gilbert Islands, in the Micronesian nation of Kiribati.
I'm off exploring the atoll of Tarawa.
This is the main island of the nation of Kiribati. With so little land and a population of around 50,000, it feels as though it's busting at the seams. These islands were colonised by people from what is now Southeast Asia, and they got way out here on sailing canoes, crossing oceans to find a new home.
The Earth is warming, and it's causing the sea levels to rise. Kiribati is one of the most at-risk nations in the world due to climate change. A recent study predicts that the oceans will rise between 0.8 up to 2 metres by the year 2100. For a nation like Kiribati, with an average height of 2 metres above sea level, it means much of the country may be lost in the near future. I've wandered into a small village and met Kirui, and he wants to show me around. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I've been invited into the meeting house. I believe the chief wants to meet with me.
Yeah. We Kiribati people welcome foreigners. Enjoy our small welcome function for you. When we came here in 2007, it was about the edge of the beach. But now, it's been eroded away.
So people are having to keep moving back inland to escape the eroding sea.
During the highest high tide, it flows in and flooded all the place everywhere. And all of our plants and all the fruit trees all died.
The salt water seeps down into the soil and it kills many of the trees.
You are right.
So these tyres along the beach, is that what people have done to try and stop the erosion?
Yeah, you are right, but that strong current, and we try to make a seawall like that, but it needs cement.
So really, to protect the island, you almost need a wall all the way around it.
Mm-hmm. You are right.
Crazy.
The future of these children lies with the Heavenly Father.
On one hand, the sea is so important to you and it's such a big part of your lives. But on the other hand, the sea is eroding away the land and making it difficult to live here.
Yeah. Yes, I'm worrying, Alan. It's okay.
You mentioned the seawater coming in, and the beach is only like 40, 50 metres from here. And it's over the edge of the sand. It's actually downhill to your house. How high has the water come?
Here's the mark. Look.
Really?
Yeah.
That's half a metre.
Yeah.
That's here. That's,
In line with it.
that's a few centimetres below the level of your bed where you sleep. So this happens once a year.
And so tide is also coming both ways, from there and from there.
Do the fish come in with the tide?
Yeah. Some people put their fishing net, try to capture them.
What do you think you will do in the future if the tide comes up further?
We try to protect ourselves from the invasion of the tide, but also we put our trust in God. So we just accept it, that way of life,
I can't imagine living with such a huge problem and facing that day in and day out and not having an answer to solve it. Many people of this nation are being affected in the same way. And yet for Kirui, he looks to the future of his village and his grandchildren optimistically. These islands are at risk, but they're changing rapidly. So I've come here, deep in the Pacific, to see with my own eyes what's at risk of being lost. I've set my course south across the equator to Nanus. I've heard that these remote islands in the Gilbert Group rarely see visitors. Out here, every island is off the beaten path. Welcome to Nanus. Pretty idyllic paradise I'm coming into. Tide's out though. It's gone out a long way. I'm itching to explore the island, but I'm told there's one place that I have to go first. I have to go and make an offering to the spirits and get their permission before I can go and explore. I've heard there's a shrine. Do you know where I can find it?
Yeah, you find it at the southern tip of the island.
That's a bit of a walk. I better catch a ride.
Oh, we have to bring just like a gift, but like a tobacco.
Yeah.
The spirit will welcome you to the island, and every time you walk on the island, you bring good luck.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, you take care.
Thank you.
Hello. Do you have tobacco? Irish Cape tobacco?
There's nothing.
Thank you. Bye. Most of the people live in traditional houses with open walls and thatched roofs. There's some glimpses of the modern world here. There's a road, there's motorcycles and trucks. But if it wasn't for those things, it would feel like I'd step back in time 1,000 years. The way people live in their homes and live off the land and off the sea is like they have for generations.
Yes! Oh, yes!
Hello! Hello, do you know where the shrine is? Okay. I'll keep looking then. Thank you. Hello.
Maori.
Maori. Is this the shrine?
Yeah.
Yeah? I was told I was to bring tobacco as an offering.
Yes.
I'll give it to you.
Yes.
You know where it goes.
Brava.
That's it. I'm blessed. That was short. Well, thank you. It's taken me pretty much all day to get down to the end of the island, and the blessing was pretty much over in a minute. At least now I'm free to explore. Three turns. Take another one from here.
Yeah, from
This one. There we go. This is the start of our torch. So this is what's going to light us out on the reef for the next half an hour to an hour. Kaputa has invited me to stay the night. He said it's too far to travel back to the other end of the island, and him and some friends are going fishing on the reef, so they've invited me to join them. They're using traditional torches made of coconut palm leaves. Such an unusual way of fishing, and nothing like I've ever experienced before. Walking through the shallow reef right at low tide when the fish are in nice and shallow and you can see them. I'm also told that there's crayfish out here, so I've got my fingers crossed we're going to catch some crayfish tonight. Get another one. Wow. Put them in the sack. The Kiribati relationship with the ocean is a difficult one. While on one hand they depend on the ocean to sustain them, that same ocean, rising and eroding the island, threatens their very way of life. Woo! He's just sitting there in amongst the rocks. First crayfish in Kiribati. Put him in the sack before he gets away. Back home I'm used to crayfishing, but I've never ever crayfished in this way. Who taught you how to make the lights, the torches?
Our ancestors. My great-great-grandfather passed down until my father teach me how to use this. It's the only way to get our fish during the night.
What did you catch? What's it called?
Now,
I think we call this a Spanish lobster.
yes,
But that one's too small, right?
small.
We should let it go. We're down to our last torch now. We've got 3 crayfish though, and some fish off the reef, so definitely enough for a feed. Cooking crayfish on the beach. This reminds me of being back home. Life doesn't get better than this. That's right. Woo, they keep throwing on more firewood and it's singeing the hairs on my legs right now.
You can use myself.
Yeah. He's trying to cook the crayfish, but he's also trying to cook us as well.
Have to check it.
It's going to be hard to get close. Are they done?
Yeah.
Yara has been fishing his whole life, and he told me that one day he was fishing along with a friend off the islands of Kiribati and their engine broke down. They were adrift at sea.
32 days at sea.
You were lost for 32 days.
32 days. In my mind, I thought, when we are going to die?
Yeah.
On the 32 days, about midnight, I saw a boat. So I asked my friend, get the flashlight, and the boat is coming nearer and nearer. And I could see that it's all Korean crew. When we climbed up and he told me, can you tell me where's your home? I said, Kiribati. They measured it. He said, do you know where you are now? No, you are near 1,500 miles.
Wow.
Oh, very lucky with that boat when he comes.
Yara was lucky to be alive. And despite this ordeal, he went back out to sea and continued fishing.
Fish, that's the only hope. Because if we rely on our land, it's very small. Some of our people, they are known to be very skillful in navigation, using the canoe. They travel from one island to another island.
I would love to be able to go out and be able to navigate like that. Do you think there's somebody in Kiribati that can teach me these skills?
Yes, sure.
So what would I give in exchange for that knowledge?
It's up to you. Something is very precious.
Yaira told me about navigating by the stars, by the currents. I really want to find a traditional sailing canoe and somebody who will teach me how to sail it. Yaira says I should head north, so I'm heading to the atoll of Apimama. Oh, no. I think I misjudged the tide. My tender's about 150 metres offshore. I ran aground, but it was dead low tide. Now I've come back at high tide and it's way the hell out there. Robert Louis Stevenson, celebrated novelist of the classic Treasure Island, was also an adventurer. He sailed to Kiribati in 1889, landing upon the atoll of Apimama and living amongst its people. He even became close friends with the king of Apimama, Tem Binoka. Inspired by Stevenson, I've come here on my own adventure to learn about its people, their culture, and in search of a traditional sailing canoe. I've arrived on the atoll of Apimama and I've come here hoping that I can find a traditional sailing canoe. With outboard motors and fiberglass boats, these sailing canoes are becoming more and more rare. I've been told that I should talk to a man named Don. He's pretty connected and hopefully he can help me find one. How you doing? No brakes. I'm looking for a man named Don. This way? Okay. Okay, thanks very much. This might even be him here. I've heard that the Kiribati people are just renowned sailors. Once upon a time, they used to sail on these sailing canoes.
But there are some people who still can do it.
I would love if there was an opportunity to meet somebody to go sailing.
The other day I was up at the other end village and there's somebody was working on his boat. He's just peeling the paint off. You can see it for yourself.
Yeah? Would you mind introducing me to him?
No, I don't mind at all.
Yeah? I can help him. He can put me to work and I'll help him fix his boat if that works.
See what he says when you ask him. I don't think he'd mind.
How do we get there?
Jump on the bike. Hop on?
Yeah, yeah.
Go.
I'm not used to being on the back.
Ah, it's all right. This is the first time for everything.
So how long have you been working on fixing up the canoe?
2 months, or more than that.
Is this a traditional sailing canoe for Kiribati?
Yeah.
And they've been making these for how long?
Before time began. Well, that's how they got here, on these type of canoes.
I'm more than happy to help. If you can put me to work, I'll help to make it ready.
Yeah.
Have you got some sandpaper? You don't have an electric one, do you, Willie? No electric sander, just one of these. Anywhere there's little cracks or holes, I've put some sort of resin over it, and it's very hard, so we're trying to sand that smooth. Yeah. Need to enlist all the help I can get. Is this okay, what I'm doing? Yeah? Is that smooth enough? It's amazing to see how they've built these canoes. There's no screws or nails or anything like that. Each piece of timber is stitched together with the next. And back in the day, they used to use rope that they'd make from the coconut palm trees. But here they use fishing line. So what I'd really like to know is, why is it so important for a family to have their own sailing canoe?
You can't do without it, because that's how you get your food. Canoe is something that is very prestigious. It's a man thing to learn to sail. And the Kiribati man, you put him on a canoe, he knows what to do.
And is that still part of the tradition now?
Now with outboard motors, start the thing and off you go. Easier to learn.
Is this an art that's dying within Kiribati?
It's saddening to say that it's dying, but it is dying. It's a reality you have to face. It comes with modernization, I guess. Things change.
It's been great to get involved in this little project. Unfortunately, the sailing canoe is quite old and it's been neglected, but it means so much for this family to have their own canoe. I really want to see it sail again. Kind of feel like it's my first day on the job and I'm trying to make a good impression. Willie's supervising. He's sitting over there in the shade and he's got a watchful eye on all of us.
The old man says he's doing very good. He's pleased that, as you say, otherwise nothing would have been done.
I've got the feeling this project has been going on for a while and it's stagnated. So I think me turning up with some enthusiasm, wanting to see this boat back in the water has really kind of given it a good kick in the backside. Willie was just telling me that this boat hasn't been in the water for 10 years. Although the job hasn't been really hard, I just feel knackered. I remember on the noose, Yaira told me that if I wanted to learn the old ways of the Kiribati people, that I needed to give something. And so I'm really hoping that my hard work and sweat will be enough. It's taken us most of the day, but we've got a giant step closer to getting this boat in the water. A few steps to go, but I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'll come back to help Willie work on a sailing canoe. We'll put on a few coats of paint, yellow and red, just like the flag of Kiribati. It's like a slip knot, isn't it? Willie's showing me how to tie the different knots to lock the bracing onto this canoe, and it'll give it some rigidity and some strength against the waves that'll hit it. One more. Will I make a boat builder one day, Willie? Yeah. It's probably going to take a long time. I might be a lost cause. I'm still learning as the process goes on. It's been really cool to just sink my teeth into it, and it's great to see the energy and the happiness that's brought this family already. What are we going to name the boat? You're saying I can think of a name? Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Dawn has brought me to a village to witness a traditional Kiribati dance. The dance will be held in the Maniaba, which is the meeting house, the centre point of the village. The Maniaba is a very sacred place. It's so sacred that if somebody's coming along the road on their motorbike, they stop their bike before the Maniaba and they walk it past and motor off again.
Without the Maniaba, it might as well not have a village. Each part of the Maniaba belongs to a certain clan in Kiribati. The place where you sit, it's called the boss, and that is where your family's been sitting for generations. This post here is my post.
Why do you get the post? Because this is a good spot.
Because I am the king of Abimam, and this is where the king sits.
I don't know whether to believe you or not. You're really the king of Apimama?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me that before?
You never asked.
When I first got on the island, I was trying to find somebody who spoke English and who knew the island that could point me in the right direction. And somebody said, oh, you need to go and speak to Don. But they didn't mention that he was the king either. So how the hell was I meant to know? So what do I call you? Do I call you Your Majesty?
No, you call me Don.
So do you have an heir, and will one of your children become king?
I have a son, but what will Abimama do in the future? I don't know. But it's up to them now.
So it's up to the people to decide if they want a king to continue running the island.
We don't run the island. Since the government came, we've never run the island. It's up to the people if they want the title to remain part of the culture of Abimama.
That one goes here. This one goes there. I'm not very good, am I? There's a lot of intricate decorations being made for the dance tonight. They're mostly just laughing at me. Is it for boys too?
Yeah.
Do I look pretty?
Beautiful. What's the eye? Beautiful.
Thank you. I think it suits me.
Right now, Kiribati is at the crossroads. Western culture is coming in very strongly. Other Pacific Island cultures are coming in very strongly. A few years back, maybe 10 years back, all the villages of Abama could dance these dances that's going to happen tonight. Now, it's only this village that's only able to do it. All the rest have lost this knowledge. And once we desert our own traditions and our own culture, and we start embracing the culture that's coming in from overseas, then who are we?
I understand that the song is an old dialect that isn't spoken anymore.
We just know what the songs are, but we don't know what they're saying.
So over time, some of the meaning has been lost.
It's again one of those dying arts.
The dances are very intense. They come in short bursts. There's only a handful of people left who still know the words and actions to these dances. What's the significance of the movements of the dance?
The leg movements are from a bird, and the way it walks has been copied. The hand movements, you will see the canoe moving in the water, sailing along. When I was younger, I never thought that one day it will be only one village of the Mama doing the dance. I never even dreamt that. It makes me really sad. See that man over there, Yohane? He's the leader. Without him, the village will not be able to dance. But there's nobody stepping forward to take his place. And most of the younger generation don't want to do that. They're not interested in it.
When was the last time that this village performed this dance?
I think about 3 years ago.
Yeah, you can see how it could easily slip away.
Yeah.
One lady who is apparently the village clown, she doesn't know the dance at all, but she was just trying her best.
You see the fun that is had? Once that disappears, what else is there for them?
I came to Apimama hoping to find a traditional sailing canoe, and all of a sudden I find myself under the wing of the king, and he's so proud of his island, his people, and most importantly, their culture. These dances give clues to the past. I can see why Don is worried about this part of his culture slipping away. I'm being let in on a secret today. I'm being taken out by two of Don's family to go eel fishing. This is a closely held secret, and the elder gentleman here is apparently the expert eel fisherman. Kaladu's one of the few people on this island with the knowledge of how to still build these traditional traps and set them. Now, unfortunately, he's had a horrific injury where he's fallen out of a tree and he's broken his back, so he's not able to swim. He's teamed up with Dose, who's a very skilled spear fisherman, and between them, they can still fish in this traditional way. We're just heading across the atoll to the outer reef. This is the anchor. The water's pretty shallow here, and we're right on the reef, come right across the other side of the lagoon. It looks gorgeous. I can see the coral underneath us. Done. Dose is going to go over the side and do some spearfishing to try and get some small fish to use as bait. So I'm going to follow him. Dose is an expert spear fisherman, and the equipment that he's using is very, very basic. Just a small piece of rubber on a little hand grip, and then just a metal shaft that is used as a spear. He's deadly accurate with his Hawaiian sling, and I can't hit anything to save my life. Oh man, it's so frustrating. I've tried several times to get fish, and I just can't seem to hit anything. I watch Dose do it. He makes it look easy. It's definitely not easy. These traps are made with sticks that are just woven together with fishing line. And to weight them down, there's lumps of coral on either side. There's this ingenious little trap door. The fish are going inside there, and the eels can't actually get at it. Once they go inside the trap, they can't find their way back out again. All right, one more to go. These traps are going to be set overnight, and then tomorrow we'll come back out and check them. Today's a new day, so just about to go out and check the traps. Hopefully they're full of eels. Eel is a traditional food source here in Kiribati, and while once it might have been a bit more of a staple, now it's considered more of a delicacy. I've got 2 eels in the trap. One's really big, really big. Good, we've got 2. Yeah.
Everything is eaten, nothing gets thrown away.
The eel is being cut into slices, and after it's been salted, it'll be put out on a rack to dry in the sun for about 3 days. Am I doing it wrong? What? All the girls are laughing at me. Not unusual. The next stage is just being out here in the sun to dry for a few days. I can't believe how much effort there was in just catching 2 eels. It took almost 2 days of work. Just such a huge amount of work for such a small amount of food. Some of these traditions are disappearing, and for Don it's really important to keep these traditions alive. This boat has been out of the water for over 10 years. Today's the day it's going to hit the water again. There's not one nail, not one screw. It's all just lashed together. We're just making the last of the joints. This is the final piece of the puzzle to give the mast something to sit in. So the base of the mast will actually sit inside this coconut husk, and the sail will be above. A bit different from my yacht, that's for sure. When I first saw it, I'm thinking, oh no, this is going to take weeks. How does it make you feel to see this come together?
Very good. Not only for how I feel, but for them.
Now they're self-sufficient. They've got their own boat. They can go out and catch their own fish, and if they've got any spare, then they can now sell it to others.
So, what are you waiting for?
It's time to sail, Willie. First test. No water coming in. So now the sail's going to get fitted for the first time. And we're away. I've been looking at the sail and how it's configured and how the boat is built, how it all works. It's quite complicated, but at the same time it's made with the simplest of products. The mast and the boom is just made from some sticks cut from the bush, and the sail is a piece of polythene plastic. It's pretty old, it's got holes in it, but still it works. We've only been going about 20 minutes and already we've gone a couple of miles from shore, and it's slicing through the water reasonably quickly. Can you teach me? So what do I do? If I pull it in tighter?
If you pull it in, the front door will go that way.
I'm just adjusting the sail by pulling this line in and out. It's so sensitive, you can feel every puff of wind, and just a small difference, it makes the sail just want to pull out of your hand. So I'm just finding a real sweet spot. Am I doing okay, Willie? You just feel like you're skimming along the top of the water, and you really feel at one with the wind and the ocean. All right, we're just about to turn. The sail has to swap from the front of the boat to the back of the boat. Want me to take this? All right, okay, I'll hold it. It's certainly not easy. I can't imagine doing this when it's rough. Now we've turned 180 degrees and we're sailing back the other way. Early seafarers were thought to have discovered these islands in canoes much like this one. Finally getting a chance to sail one myself, it just blows my mind what they accomplished.
To be a man, you have to have a canoe. Without a canoe, you're nobody. That's how important it is. In Kiribati, the word for canoe is wa, W-A. The word mine is implied in the word canoe because it's so personal to you, it's part of you. So the canoe is part of a person. The people have been known to sleep with their canoes, stroke it like a lover.
Yeah, did you hear that? It's your lover now.
The love of his life now is in the water. It's good now. Most people, I think, in the village will see this one, and maybe they will want their own canoes again back in the water.
There's just one last thing we need to do. We need to write the name on the boats.
Yeah.
To Willie and his extended family, this sailing canoe, for one, means it's a thing that'll be passed down from generation to generation. And in the short term, it means that Willie and his family can go out and fish on the reef. Yeah, okay. We've got a name for the boat. Do you approve? Is that good?
Good.
Every boat needs a name. It's bad luck for a boat not to have a name. So we found a pretty good one.
This canoe belongs to you.
I feel very touched that you said that.
The work is completed by you.
And I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed helping. And I really enjoyed going sailing on it. And one day maybe I'll come back and sail it again with you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for everything.
You take care. It was really great to be involved in resurrecting this old canoe and seeing it sail again. Willie and his son were thanking me, and yet I felt so grateful to them for allowing me to be involved in this project. Well, Don, I really appreciate you sharing your culture with me and letting me see that for myself.
The culture that is here today, if it's kept alive in some way, we can accept what's coming in, but not lose ourselves. We can do that.
Before I leave Apimama, Don, the king, has granted me permission to stay on an uninhabited island called BK Island across the lagoon. A lone paradise island all to myself. I can't pass that up.
There are still places in this world that are untouched. They're not easy to get to, but that's what makes them so special. Like this island. I can only imagine what it would be like to paddle for hundreds of miles through open ocean to discover this new island and make it your home. There's something about an uninhabited island when you've got it all to yourself. And I keep telling myself to soak it in because it may not be here forever. This is the whole reason why I left my home in New Zealand and came on this journey to discover places like this.
It seems like a lifetime ago that I left New Zealand. And here I am, alone on this island, thousands of miles from home.
Before leaving home, I didn't know what to expect. Each and every one of these islands was a little dot on a map. But now there's so much more. Now I can close my eyes and I can picture them in my mind. I can picture the people that live there. There's so many places in this world yet to discover, and so little time to do it in. It's been nice to have some solitude. Just live off the land and live off the sea. But it's also time to move on.
Out here, I'm just a speck in the Pacific, heading out to sea. I never feel more alive than when I'm in places like this. In life, if you're doing something that both excites you and scares you, you're probably doing the right thing. Right now, the winds are pushing me to the west, further away from home, to more distant shores, just over the horizon.